Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to The Reluctant Sword. I'm going to be reading Chapter 1 and the trigger warnings. I'm going to be doing this for every single chapter, so that way, in case people end up coming to read or listen to my book, and when they do, they'll have the trigger warnings. So if they're on a random chapter and they don't know exactly where they are, the trigger warnings will be right there. So if they don't like it, they can click off. Now, trigger warnings and general warnings for the Book 1 of Reluctant Sword. There's violence, sword fights, skirmishes, and fantasy battles with some gore, includes fights between humans and monsters. Death, characters do die, a lot, or are seriously injured, including both minor and important characters to Rylan, sudden and sometimes entirely shocking. Blood, of course, both human and non-human blood, colored or magical/mythical in rare instances. Example, Ichor. Psychological trauma, fear, uncertainty, and feelings of not belonging. Characters struggle with guilt, doubt, and pressure from their roles. Dark themes and emotional distress. Grief, suspense, and high-stakes situations that may cause discomfort. War themes, sieges, destruction, and moral ambiguity in battles. Romance, includes same-gender relations, man/man, woman/woman, that may not be agreed with by all readers. My apology warning. I am not sorry for whatever else I did in this book. For example, if I killed off your favorite character for no absolute reason, I'm not sorry. Cry, laugh, or scream, or roll your eyes. All are valid reactions. Now that you've heard that, I'm going to give you a minute to breathe because this entire book is going to be a lot. So, get your popcorn, get your bread, get your blanket, get your pillow, get a coffee or tea or soda or whatever you're into. Get your partner, because if y'all are going to binge read or binge listen to my book, then that kind of sounds fun, I guess. Let's go. Chapter 1. A Quiet Life Interrupted. Rylan had always found comfort in the mundane. The quiet days spent repairing carts in his father's shop. The simple rhythm of work and rest. This life was the life he'd chosen for himself. After a childhood filled with stories of battles, dragons, and wizards, he had one rule: don't get involved. The world was too big, too messy, and there was too much pain to risk getting caught in it. But that was before the letter arrived. Rylan was kneeling to fix a wheel when his best friend and brother, Harlan, burst through the door, breathless and grinning. "Rylan!" Harlan's voice was filled with excitement. "The summons came!" Rylan froze, a wrench still in hand. He didn't need to ask. He knew what summons Harlan was talking about. That the one that had arrived for him 2 days earlier, sealed with an ancient royal sigil. It was an invitation to the Grand Council, where heroes were chosen. Heroes who, according to the rumors, were supposed to save the world from rising darkness. And Rylan was one of the chosen. He stood up, slowly rubbing his forehead. "I'm not going." "What do you mean, not going?" Harlan's face dropped, the disbelief obvious in his eyes. He was always so sure that Rylan would answer the call. It was though Harlan had known something Rylan didn't even dare to dream about. "I'm not a hero, Harlan," Rylan said flatly. "I'm a cartwright. I fix things, and I like it that way. This," he waved at the letter on the counter, "is not my problem. You're the only one who can stop it." Harlan was already pacing, his boots tapping sharply on the stone floor. "The world needs you. Don't you see that? All the signs pointed to you." Rylan shook his head, ignoring the tug in his chest at Harlan's words. "You know what I see? I see a future full of trouble and endless fighting, and I don't want it." "You don't have a choice," Harlan snapped, stepping closer. "We never have a choice. You were chosen, and I'm not about to let you waste this opportunity." Rylan met Harlan's eyes. His brother's passion, his unshakable belief that Rylan was destined for something greater, was both frustrating and inspiring. Harlan had been by his side since they were kids, and he knew Rylan better than anyone. He saw something in him, something Rylan didn't believe existed. "I can't do it," Rylan whispered. "I'm not who they think I am." "You are who they think you are," Harlan said, his voice softer now, filled with a quiet conviction. "And I'll be with you every step of the way. You won't have to do it alone." Rylan was about to argue, but Harlan grabbed his arm, his grip firm but gentle. "Please, Rylan. The world needs you. I need you." The weight of Harlan's words settled on his shoulders like a burden. It wasn't that Rylan didn't care. He did. He cared about his brother, about the world, but he couldn't see himself stepping into the role of a hero. Harlan's eyes were pleading now, and for the first time in a long while, Rylan found himself questioning everything he'd believed about his future. Rylan's hand trembled slightly. As he pushed the letter back onto the counter, the invitation still lay there, its royal seal a silent reminder of the fate that had just barged into his quiet life. He glanced at Harlan, who was watching him with the intensity that Rylan knew all too well. His brother wasn't going to back down. Not this time. You don't get it, Rylan said, his voice lower now, almost pleading. I'm not a hero. I don't even want to be one, and I sure as hell don't want to be dragged into some grand adventure to save the world. You're talking about war, blood, and loss. That's not me. Harlan's face softened, and he took a cautious step forward. Rylan, I've seen you. When you helped the villagers rebuild that village after the flood, when you defended those kids from the bandits last summer, you've always been there when it mattered, even when you didn't want to be. Rylan's chest tightened. Those moments felt like nothing. Small acts of kindness, nothing worth celebrating, just things that anyone with a bit of courage would do. You don't get it, Rylan repeated, his voice stronger this time but filled with uncertainty. I was just at the right place at the right time. I'm not a hero. I'm not like them. He motioned toward the letter again, the call to arms that spoke of legendary warriors, ancient prophecies, and destinies he wasn't sure he believed in. Harlan's smile faded, but his gaze never wavered. You're more than you think, and you don't have to be alone in this. His voice dropped, quieter now, almost reverent. I believe in you, Rylan. I always have. You can say no, but deep down, you know that you can still walk away from this. The world needs someone who can lead them, and I'll follow you. Every step of the way. Rylan swallowed hard, feeling a knot form in his throat. There was something in Harlan's eyes, something unshakable. Harlan wasn't asking. He was certain, as if he knew the truth about Rylan that Rylan himself had never realized. It was maddening and overwhelming all at once. I can't be the person you think I am, Rylan whispered, almost as though speaking to himself. I'm not that strong. I'm just a cartwright. You're more than that, Harlan said again, with even more determination. You always have been. Rylan fell silent, the weight of the words hanging in the air between them, like a quiet storm. The tension was thick, yet somehow familiar. He had always known that Harlan believed in him in ways Rylan could never understand. But to be thrust into this call to adventure, it felt like an insurmountable mountain he wasn't even sure he could climb. I just want to be normal, Rylan said, his voice barely a whisper. Harlan stepped closer, his hand resting on Rylan's shoulder. I know, but sometimes life doesn't give us that choice. You can't run from this, Rylan, and I won't let you. Not without a fight. For a long moment, neither of them spoke. The only sound was the steady ticking of a clock in the corner of the shop. Rylan stared at the letter, his mind racing, his heart torn between fear and something else, a strange sense of responsibility that he couldn't shake. Finally, he let out a long sigh. Fine, he muttered, his voice heavy. I'll go. Harlan's face lit up in an instant, as if weight had been lifted from his shoulders. You will? You mean it? Rylan had nodded, though doubt still lingered in his eyes. I'll go, but only because you won't let me live it down if I don't. Harlan grinned, with the energy returning to his step. You won't regret this. We'll make a great team. I'll handle the fighting, you handle the talking, and we'll save the world. One step at a time. Rylan didn't share Harlan's optimism, but he knew one thing for certain. There was no way he could leave his brother behind. Even if Rylan didn't believe in the cause, Harlan did, and somehow that was enough. They packed quickly. Harlan insisted on carrying most of the supplies, though Rylan noticed he took special care to pack extra tools, just in case you decide to build something along the way. Harlan joked. Rylan didn't laugh. He couldn't. The weight of what they were about to do pressed down on him, and the quiet fear gnawing at his insides only grew stronger as the night wore on. By the time they set out for the capital, the stars were high, the cool air biting at the skin. The road ahead was long, and Rylan felt every mile between him and the life he had known. Remember, Harlan said as they walked into the dark, whatever happens, you're not alone. I'm with you. Rylan didn't say anything. He couldn't. But as they walked side by side into the unknown, he couldn't shake the feeling that just maybe his world was about to change forever.
Yeah, so that was. Oh, did you hear that voice crack, bro, Chacho? That was actually horrible. Well, that was
Chapter 1 of my book. I'm going to get Chapter 2 soon, or I already have it, but I'm going to record that soon when it's quiet again. And you don't hear my dad screaming at my sister in the background again. But it's okay, because I hope you enjoyed that, because I did. And I'm really excited. But I hate Chapter 2 so much. It's so horrible. Okay, I'm going to go edit this now. Bye-bye!